Good evening and welcome to the Henry Ford College Board of Trustees meeting. Today is Monday, June 10th, 2024. It's exactly 7 p.m. and I'll call this meeting to order.
Trustee D'Ambrosio.
Here.
Trustee McDonald.
Here.
Trustee Moses.
Here.
Trustee Petchikoff.
Here.
Trustee Thorpe.
Here.
Trustee Watts here. Chair Barry.
Here, next item, please.
Approval of minutes. Approval of minutes for the following Board of Trustees meeting. Regular Board of Trustees meeting, May 20th, 2024. Board of Trustees special meeting, May 20th, 2024. Closed session, May 20th, 2024. Recommended action, make any necessary corrections and move to approve these minutes.
So moved.
Support.
So we have a motion moved by Trustee D'Ambrosio, supported by Trustee Petchikoff. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Are there any objections to the motion? Please attach a unanimous roll call in the affirmative. Next item, please.
President's items.
Thank you, Madam Secretary, Mr. Chairman, trustees, good evening. I am all that stands between you and one of the longest days of the year, and it's sunny out, so I will be very brief. I want to make you aware that our good colleague Troy Gibson, who has been with the advising office for almost 10 years, has announced his retirement. He'll have a party, we'll have a party for him on June 24th at 3 p.m. In this room. You're welcome to join us. I also want to congratulate one of us who had a birthday on the 25th of May, who stood me up for a dinner date, but we've rescheduled it, and I hope he had a good birthday on a holiday weekend. I also want any member of the public to know that we are aware that the United States Department of Education has issued new Title IX compliance regulations, and this board, in its oversight authority, will begin to hold meetings on in its policy committee to start complying with them, but the college need not have those meetings to start compliance, and I've directed Vice President Clark and Diamond to help make sure that the college is complying. So any member of the public or our regulatory agencies should know we are preparing to and do plan to comply with the new Title IX policies. I want to congratulate Vice President DeLong and her web team for launching our new website. I've heard from multiple trustees, Vice President DeLong, that feel good about it. I have received just a little bit of constructive feedback on it, which I haven't had a chance to give to you, but I also invite you trustees to reach out directly to Vice President DeLong, whose team and herself have labored long and hard on it, and I'm pleased with the final product, but it is, of course, never a finished job. We'll have to keep updating it, and I encourage you all to let her know what things you think can be improved upon. Quick summary and update for enrollment. The summer enrollment is almost complete with our census date coming up in a little less than a month. Right now, we're excited to report that we are more than 5% above where we were at this point for summer enrollment last year. That's a great victory, but just remember that summer entails a little bit less than 25% of our annual enrollment. So a big lead there is always useful, but not nearly as important as the fall and the winter, which is a good segue to the fall. We have started enrollment for the fall of 2024, and we are about flat. We're just a teeny bit below where we were last year. We'll keep track of that as we are, as I usually say, in the very beginning of the game or the race that is fall enrollment. Some of you know that I have served as the chair of the Michigan Community College Association's Legislative Committee, and I wanted to update you all that I asked for the chair of that group, the Michigan Community College Association, to give me leave to step down as chair of the Legislative Committee, and he has agreed to that, and I'll be stepping down as chair of that Legislative Committee after June. Our last meeting with me as chair, I believe, is in a week and a half, and I'll stay on that committee, but I will not be the chair of it any longer. And one more item. We were excited, and I appreciate Vice President DeLong for helping us organize this, to have one of the high schools from Detroit have their graduation on our campus right across the hallway in the 4th auditorium. It was the Academy of the Americas. It is a small high school, but primarily serves first-generation Americans and immigrant families. And I believe there were 52 graduates who came to the graduation here at Henry Ford College. And as far as I can remember, it was standing room only. It was very, very exciting. And we have at least 20 of those students who have applied and been admitted at HFC, so we're excited to see how many of them we can have here in the fall. I promised, Mr. Chairman, to be short, and that is my report. I'll take any questions if you have any.
Promise made, promise kept, but thank God you caught yourself. Hearings are in DC. We have
Yes,
meetings
yes,
there.
yes.
There's enough hearings happening
Yes.
over there right now. Next
Oh,
item.
I'm sorry. Discussion items, winter 2024 proposed TIF projects, board report number 4745. Mr. Joe Zitnik, Chair, Technology Investment Committee.
Chair Barry, Board of Trustees, President Cavaluna. My name is Joe Zednick. I'm Chair of the TIF Committee this year. There were 4 TIF projects this year that were the committee voted to put forward. We had $299,000 to start with. You have to hold 10% back for overruns, so that left us with about $270,000 for the projects. The 4 projects that we decided to go forward with, one was a renovation of the technology for the women's locker room. The men's locker room was done. We paid for that out of TIF. We thought it was only right that the TIF committee paid for the women's locker room renovations. 2 is the planetarium upgrades. The planetarium is sorely out of date. There's a bunch of technology. Mostly, the biggest expense in that room is the computer itself, because of the power it needs to put the displays up. So that was one of the other projects. To continue with the high-flex installations in the classrooms, that was project number 3. And project number 4 was for the biology department. It was a laptop cart and some laptops. One of the biology classes, anytime they need to use a computer, they need to have to take the classroom. They need to take the class out of the classroom, find an available class, go in there, do their assignment, come back out, walk back to their biology class. So the committee agreed to purchase them a laptop cart and some laptops for use in the classroom. The total for the projects was $272,000, which is $3,000 over the amount that was allocated, but we're taking $3,000 out of the infrastructure fund to cover the cost overrun. Any questions?
Are there any questions? Trustee
Uh-oh,
Petchakov?
here we go.
And this, don't take this question as being a criticism of the ask, but the planetarium,
Yes,
and I haven't been there in a number of years, but I have been in there in the past, so I'm familiar enough with it. But I will tell you this, I am part of an organization of neighborhood associations where not a one of my, and they've been residents for their whole entire lives in Dearborn, are familiar that we even have a planetarium on college campus. How are we marketing this, and who is, I'm assuming we have our students using, I'm hoping, our facilities at the bare minimum, but how are we exposing people to the knowledge that we even have a planetarium on site?
that is not the question for me.
I know, that's why I was kind of looking at Rhonda to the side.
Jesse Mason, who is the person who put this project forward and is responsible for the upgrades. I don't know if you guys remember, he was the one who did so much with some of the work that they're sending off to NASA for the community colleges. Really kind of like NASA's asking how community colleges are coming up with the kind of data that we are, but he's in charge of this project too. I know the guy loves the planetarium, and I know he is anxious to show whoever wants to be shown the planetarium whenever they have the opportunity to see it. So the marketing piece I don't know about, but I know that in terms of, if I'm not mistaken, we were one of the only places around that have a real planetarium in this area. So it should be marketed better, I agree.
Well, if we're gonna invest to upgrade, I think we need to also invest to get people through the doors.
I agree.
The numbers have been better this year for a variety of reasons.
Okay.
Well, it's upgraded.
Well, yeah, but we still need to market that.
Yes, and, yeah, we have been through various meetings. I can give you more details later if
All right,
You
yeah.
don't wanna show them a beat
Yeah,
up
I'm
old
not
planetarium.
turning down the project, but I would just like to say, if we're gonna invest in it and maintain it, I mean, I was here when we had the big expose about the globe. And,
Yeah.
and,
The marble?
the thing that ended up not being as glorious as what we thought it
Yes.
was going to be. So I just wanna make sure if we're gonna invest in anything, that we have a good support system, to make it worth the while.
I agree, and I'll give Jesse that feedback.
Okay, thank you.
I guess we can start with our high schools, our feeder high schools, not just in Dearborn, all of the high schools. Maybe
Right.
reach out to them and maybe class trips or something. I remember probably about, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, we had like a special event there. I don't know what the event
We
was,
did,
but a
we
lot
did
of
a meeting
community.
in there, yeah.
And Mary
Yes.
Lane and I
Yeah.
got locked out.
They were knocking on the door on the other side. We didn't know they automatically.
Roxanne, let it go. It wasn't intentional. Trustee McDonald, you had a question?
It was basically along the same lines, trustee Petchlokoff and I are thinking,
Oh,
very
okay.
similar. I did want to say thank you to your committee, because I really like the fact that, and you usually do this, so many of the projects just span the gamut. They help different students in different areas, and the community as well with the planetarium project. But my concern was the same thing. We've got this gem, and I don't know who knows about it. And, you know, at one point, I know that we did have our students from the,
Yeah, at
at
one
least the
point,
district coming occasionally. But again, we want to make sure the upgrades are done and it's a nice, you know, facility.
But then let's promote,
But
promote,
let's
promote.
promote, please, because
Yeah,
we've
I
got to
agree.
be able to showcase what
And
we have.
what, $50 a ticket to get in the door?
Let's
Another
just get 'em in the door
fundraiser.
for now.
If they don't want to
Trustee
go.
Thorpe, do you have a question? Oh,
Two things, just to piggyback what was asked here, I did attend one of the shows this past winter, and my memory is that it was pretty full. So
Good.
Okay.
people are finding it and going to it.
Good.
But my question is, regarding the women's locker room, because we've got an action item today on the renovation. The amount, roughly 16,500 that's being asked for here, this is in addition to the other action item that we've got
Yeah.
on the agenda?
Correct, this is
Okay.
just the technology piece of it.
That's what I thought. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. All right, thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, before
Oh, I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Zitnik, don't be sorry, I got to you late. Number one, colleagues, if you haven't met Jesse Mason yet, this is a great opportunity for you to meet him. He's a new faculty member who has brought a lot of life and energy to the campus, and I can speak to you from firsthand experience. But what I think we can do, Mr. Chairman, is ask Mr. Mason to speak with you all at our next board meeting, which will be as we get close to the fall semester. And in the interim, I can ask that he give you some information, and so that you can help in your constituent roles to move that information out to the community. But you can't miss Professor Mason. He wears a bow tie. He's very, very fun and open to interact with. He had a sun. Was it a sun? Something that looked like a sun. Like
As
the,
you
mean
men
the sun
are
as
the
the
sun,
sky?
like a big round thing on the back of his hatchback. He has a hatchback that he parks here in the staff parking lot, and there is a thing that looks like the sun, kind of. That's about the size of the podium that Mr. Zitnik is standing on, which shows you how much he wants to get attention for his program. Because it was a teaching opportunity. He was basically helping students understand the distance from the sun that certain celestial objects were in. But most importantly, Mr. Chairman, this person who chairs the TIF project did not identify that he's not only the chair of the TIF committee, but he is a new granddad.
Congratulations.
I'll show you pictures after.
But he doesn't have any reports on that other than pride. So he's not asking for a baby
Big as a
camera.
house already, he's only 4 months old.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry for taking.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Chairman Mary,
Yes.
one other question, and I don't know, it's hard to judge these days because you have all problems with supply chains and all that. Any idea when this project might be completed? Specifically the planetarium project?
So the approvals go through in August, and then the money's made available. Most of them, because some of these projects like the planetarium are so specific to the vendor, as long as they have parts, most of these lately, a lot of our vendors have been putting forward bids based on availability of stuff they have. And some of the higher end computers, those are usually in larger supply because there's not as many people out there to buy them. So if it's my understanding is correct, they have most of the stuff is on hand for them to go forward with it.
Just to add to that, this is a report. It doesn't officially become official
Right.
until August, so we still have to go out and look for bids.
Okay.
Being if you purchase above 29,000, below 20,000, you're through the process of that. That's 2 months away.
Okay.
And our normal process is, here it's June, we're not gonna be doing a whole heck of a lot on that between now and August. So the only way that this can be sped up was if it happened to be brought forward at the P12 meeting in July, or, heaven forbid, I've never done this, and just make a suggestion, somebody decides to get this process moving forward at tonight's meeting with that's all I can say. Just to make you aware, this is gonna be 2 months before this goes forward once we do something different. And it's no fault of the committee. The committee, it was difficult for them to get going this time. Here, Joe gladly stepped in as chair. It took a while for the leader group to get together, so that's why they're about a week behind.
Thank you very much. Next item, please.
Action item, citizen participation. We do not have any reports.
Okay, great, thank you. Next item, please.
Move on. Next, are there any action items on this agenda which board members or the president wish to discuss and vote on separately? If there are, we will exclude these from the action below.
Other than number 10. Right?
Being pulled for a roll call.
Yes. Anybody? Go ahead, read them.
Recommended action, move to approve action items numbered 1 through 11 as recommended in this agenda, except for 10.
So moved?
Support.
So a motion moved by trustee McDonald, supported by trustee Petrikov. Are there any questions? Are there any objections to the motion? Please attach a unanimous roll call vote. No affirmative.
Do we have to have somebody as the alternate trustee director for the,
We've already named.
Plug that in.
Oh, the-
Irene?
And now
Irene, oh, the alternate, yeah,
Oh, okay, good catch.
yeah.
So we need to pull
Any
that.
volunteers? I can be the alternate. Thank you for catching that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to number 10, please, Madam
Number 10,
Secretary.
recommended action, move to approve the contract for Henry Ford College President Russell Cavalluna.
So moved.
Support?
Motion moved by trustee Thorpe, supported by trustee McDonald. Are there any questions or discussion? I just want to make a clarification here. It says move to approve the contract for Henry Ford College President Russell Cavalluna. Anytime you make a change in a contract, even if it's as minor as the one we're making tonight, you call it a new contract. That's why it reads that. We didn't sit down and write up a new contract. I just want to make sure everybody knew that out there. Are there any other discussion or questions? Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee D'Ambrosio?
Yes.
Trustee McDonald?
Yep.
Trustee Moses?
yes,
Trustee Petrikov?
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe?
Yes.
Trustee Watts? Yes. Chair Barry?
Yes, thank you. Next item, please.
Next item, Board of Trustees business, acknowledgement of correspondence.
Next item, please.
Board committee reports.
Trustee McDonald?
Yeah, we had a audit committee meeting just before this one, and we met with Dana, who has been part of our audit team for many years. And this was just a pre-audit meeting. It's planning. There's some required communications coming from her that the committee needs to have. They are responsible, but not absolute. They do sampling, let's see. I've got notes all over the place here, so pardon me. They will not express an opinion, but they do an assessment on internal controls. In the interim procedures, or they, basically, the timing, they had the meeting that starts tonight. There'll be an interim that begins June 10th, and that lasts for 2 weeks. And then the audit will be August 12th for 3 weeks. Then there'll be a final draft and another presentation to the committee in August. And then after the committee gets that report, then it will be disseminated to the rest of the board. Let's see. The things that they're going to be focusing on is tuition revenue, student accounts receivable, and related allowances. Let's see, for doubtful accounts. They'll perform testing. They said they will do a sample test of about 40 students chosen at random. And let's see, they're also gonna look into the accounting for the college portions of MIPSers and the pension and the OPEB obligation. Let's see, property tax revenue, including reserves and delinquent receivables, and tax tribunals. Fixed assets is something else that they're concentrating on, and let's see. Compliance with grants, again, look at internal controls. And if there's any concerns that the board has that they would like to have them take a look at, you know, you can let Dana know directly or let me know as chair or Chair Barry, and we'll make sure that that's taken care of. Anything that I missed, other members of the committee that you can think of? Okay.
Great, thank you very much. Any other reports?
Mr. Chairman, if I might, the chair of the Building and Site Committee approved me just reminding trustees and the public that the Building and Site Committee will meet in 2 weeks, and its primary focus is the planning that the college is doing for the Southeast Michigan Student Success Center, and that'll be at 11 o'clock here in this building. So if trustees are interested in the work that's going on right now, I see many members of the committee. I think Mr. Setkowski, Dr. Rader, Reuben Bruckley. Joe, are you on that committee too? I don't think you are not? Okay. But that committee's work will be updated on June 24th. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And we will mostly be reviewing where we stand with the RFPs for the architectural firm that will be chosen hopefully at the July 29th meeting of the P12.
Okay, if you can shoot out an email to the board, the day and time, thank you very much. Next item, please.
Request for information and/or future agenda items.
Anybody? I think it's a good time to get an update on the long-term energy plan.
Yeah.
I knew that would get John going. Got a big smile on his face, yeah. Just to give us where we're at, I know we had some goals we had to meet, and so, next meeting after is fine. Next item, please.
Board member commentary.
Okay, I got some bragging to do again about an employee, so, one of the secretaries in my office was thinking, get back to school. I said, take a couple classes at Honeyport College, it won't hurt anything. I actually drove her down here to the Welcome Center, and in advising, is it Melinda? If memory serves me right. It was a young lady training, and she did a phenomenal job. Gave her all the information, this and that, and Melinda stepped in and had some more brochures, so I'm not sure about the name, but this was last Friday, so I always like to brag about our employees when I see something good. All right, if nobody else, next item, please.
Future meeting dates.
I'm gonna bail you out, Mary, here.
Monday, June 17th, 2024, HFC Board of Trustees special meeting, 6 p.m. at the Administrative Service and Conference Center in the Cabinet Conference Room. Monday, July 29th, 2024, P12 Board of Education meeting, 7 p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom. Monday, August 19th, 2024, P12 Board of Education meeting, 7 p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom. Wednesday, August 21st, 2024, P12 Board Training, 6 p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in Room 12. Monday, August 26th, 2024, HFC Board of Trustees Policy Committee meeting, 6 p.m. at the Administrative Services and Conference Center in the Cabinet Conference Room. And Monday, August 26th, 2024, HFC Board of Trustees meeting, 7 p.m. at the Administrative Service and Conference Center in the Rosenau Boardroom.
Thank you, and we are adjourned.